to protect the waterway during moments of tension. Akbar, what are you hearing about why allies are hesitant to answer President Trump's call this time?
I think the most important point is something Aaron just raised, which is there is no clear endgame for the Trump administration here, right? The goals of this war have shifted from regime change to we want to encourage Iranian people to rise up to, oh, we're degrading Iran's navy and we're degrading its ballistic missile capability. It's really not clear what any other power would be signing up for. And I'd really point people to also the rupture in faith in the U.S. credibility and planning that came from Gaza, right? I mean, this is the second now major regional conflagration that the U.S. has gone into under now presidents from both parties with Benjamin Netanyahu, a leader who a lot of European governments, a lot of governments around the world are extremely skeptical of. So if you're looking at the track record of the U.S. and Netanyahu's missions, the Gaza war has yet to conclude and there's no sort of recourse for the 2 million Palestinians there who are still really in extreme deprivation. Lebanon, again, a place where the U.S. was helping Israel bomb less than 2 years ago, is again facing bombardment and a probable Israeli invasion. So if you are someone sitting in Paris, Brussels, Berlin, London, why would you sign up for a U.S. that's repeatedly demonstrated again under presidents of both parties that it's going to go in with Israel and kind of lead into these rudderless missions that don't seem to have moral or strategic bases for success?
Well, it leads us to this question from Brock, who says, I wonder, is this really a war on Iran by the U.S., or is it a war by Israel with the U.S. assisting? And we should acknowledge here, Akbar, that the messaging around who's leading this effort hasn't been clear from the administration.
Certainly there's been close cooperation with the Israelis, and of course Prime Minister Netanyahu was a major factor in encouraging President Trump to choose to begin this war right now, most importantly in convincing him that right now was the moment to go for it, right? That we still haven't seen any indication of imminent threat or a reason for the US to be pulled in. All of that said, I'd encourage people to look at the broader context here of how Israel is kind of treated in US politics. And what I mean by that is, even in the resignation statement today from Joe Kent, the now former National Counterterrorism Center chief, he's really pointing the finger at Israel. He's saying President Trump got deceived by Israel. Now, that certainly President Trump was influenced by Israel, but the choice to go to war was his. Right? And we also see many actors. Joe Kent has previously been associated with white nationalists, the far right. It's important to kind of look at where responsibility lies with the US, and then also who might be jumping on a narrative of this isn't an American war, this is an Israeli war for their own domestic political gains and agendas.
Trudy, I love your thoughts on that as well.
I think the administration has made it quite clear in several statements, including by Trump yesterday, that this decision would never have been made had it not been for the pressure coming from Israel. Now, I agree 100% with Akbar that ultimately the president is responsible for the decisions he makes. The buck stops with him. But take Israel out of the equation and this war would never have happened. Trump did not come into office with any type of an obsession to go to war with Iran. Netanyahu has had an obsession for more than 25 years to push the United States into a war, and he's now finally succeeded. And I think what happened, or may have happened in the terms of the assassination of Ali Larijani, who was a very critical figure within the Iranian theocracy, whether intentional or not, but the effect of that killing may very well have ended up being the destruction of some of the potential off-ramps that Trump could have had, because Larijani was someone that the U.S. had actually engaged with before and could potentially have engaged with in the future. But from the Israeli standpoint, any effort by Trump to end this war, in their view, prematurely would be problematic. They want this war to go on for much longer and destroy as much as possible of Iran's military capabilities in order to shift the balance in Israel's favor. So again, in previous cases, there may have been some speculation about what Israel's role was or wasn't. In this case, I think it's utterly clear. That, however, does not take responsibility away for Trump for having made the final decision to go into this war.
Aaron?
Jen, can I jump in here for a sec? I think Akbar's right on this, that basically this is not Bibi's war. And Trita's notion, I think, is also accurate. Previous American presidents, Democrats and Republicans, rebuffed Israeli more risk readiness on when it came to Iran. But Trump was an idiosyncratic figure. And the notion that somehow a craftier, clever Israeli prime minister conned Donald Trump into war, I think, frankly, misses the point. It is Trump's idiosyncrasies, not Benjamin Netanyahu's pressures, that explain why we are where we are.
And when you say idiosyncrasies, what do you mean specifically?
I mean, Trump operates outside the lines, both in terms of his domestic policies and his foreign policies. He thinks in large part about conflating his own personal, financial, and political interests with the national interests. We've never had a president like that before. In June, Benjamin Netanyahu offered Trump a piece of history. The first American president, the only one, Republican or Democrat, to strike Iranian nuclear sites without cost or consequence. And on February 23rd, during that famous phone call, when Netanyahu said, we have information that Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei and members of the clerical establishment and numerous Iranian national security officials were gathered in place or would be at date certain, he offered Netanyahu another piece of history, Trump. And Trump, who in January encouraged demonstrators by saying, help is on the way, seize your institutions, we'll hit them hard, then mobilized the largest deployment of American missile and naval power since the Iraq War. And then, because Witkoff and Kushner, I think, reported back that, in essence, Iran was not interested in an off-ramp, Trump was going to war for all of his own reasons. I think Netanyahu made it easier.
Well, good afternoon, folks. Good afternoon. Actually, it's pretty late for me to be out getting my hot mocha at my favorite spot that I go to. Minute Maid. Well, it's called Minute Coffee. This used to be a Starbucks, but Minute Coffee is actually better than Starbucks. I'm glad they bought them out. But I guess Starbucks moved. But I'm coming to get a coffee, my mocha, here late. It's 2:32 p.m. And the temperature right now is, for us, this is chilly. 64 degrees Fahrenheit is chilly for southern Texas this time of year. We are normally in the high 70s or 80 this time of year. But it is what it is. It's a beautiful day still. Sun's shining. Solar day. I'm getting my hot mocha. And I just finished doing some work in my micro food forest. I just finished potting up some more Dwarf Black Mulberry cuttings. They're cuttings that I potted up in 1 gallon air pots. So I got that all done this morning. I'm done. Taking a break from that. I'm getting out late to get my hot mocha. As usual, I'm listening to talk radio. Talk about the Iran conflict or war. What's going on right now. As you heard, talk radio. It is what it is. First of all, I'm going to say I'm an independent. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. But I am an independent. Who did I vote for? I voted for Trump. Again. Yeah, I voted for Trump twice. I also voted for Obama twice. I also voted for Clinton twice. So I voted for Obama twice. I voted for Clinton twice. I voted for Obama twice. And I voted for Trump twice. As far as this Iran war, my view is this war with Iran, terroristic Iran, who me being a veteran, I have been in wars. So I know what war is up close. Up close, I know what it is. So Iran, most of you folks probably don't know a lot of your histories when it comes to Iran and the United States, we've been at war with Iran for a long time. Iran hit one of our naval ships and killed 37 of our shipmates. I'm gonna say my shipmates. So Iran doesn't have a problem hurting and destroying America, and that's why Iran really wants to get these nuclear weapons. Because first thing Iran want to do, they wanted to destroy Israel first, and then they want to come for us, so forth. And you have to look at the oil, the big oil that Iran has. Iran is the third biggest oil producer, I think, in the whole world. Iran produces 20% of oil, and Iran is actually selling all their oil to China. They're selling all their oil to China and into India also. So China depends on Iran oil, because China does not have its own oil reserves or resources like we do here in America. China has to get all their oil from another country, and they're getting cheap oil from Iran. So this is a global thing, people. You got to open your mind up and see what's going on as far as the global conflict. And China and Russia really want to take America out from an economic standpoint and a war standpoint, people. And that's what it's heading to. So what Trump did should have been done by Bill Clinton a long time ago. What Trump's doing now should have been done 15 years ago. Real talk. If you know anything about global dominance, global economics, you could have seen what's going on now. So Trump is playing catch up. Trump is doing something that the other presidents failed and did not do. And it is what it is. So what I'm doing is I'm praying for all the military, active duty military people who are actually in war right now. I'm praying for them. Ain't nothing nice about war. You know, people do lose their lives in war. People do get hurt in war. That's why it's called war. That's why it's called war, people. For you to have your freedoms here in the United States, for you to be on social media as content creators, running your mouth, all that, that's freedom. Freedom does not come free, people. Freedom does not come free. Freedom comes from war. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to go in here and get my hot mocha. And I'm going to head back home before the traffic gets bad, because it's almost 3 o'clock. I don't go anywhere from 3 to 7:30. I don't go anywhere. I stay at home. I don't do this traffic out here in Houston. The traffic is crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Head back home. Enjoy my hot mocha. I'm going to give me 2 fuzzes too in here. Brownies, whatever they want to call them. I'm making my dinner right now in my crock pot. I got all my micro food forest work done. I potted lots of cuttings from my Dwarf Black Mulberry. Dwarf Black Mulberry Cuttings is what I planted today in my aquaponics systems. So I'm looking forward to having a lot of Dwarf Black Mulberry trees that are grown from cuttings that are grown aquaponically. Because what I've learned is, by doing aquaponics, is if you do aquaponics, all your vegetables, fruit, and trees grow 3 times faster, because they're constantly getting nutrient, organic nitrogen, and nitrate. Nitrate is actually nitrogen, organic nitrogen. They're constantly getting that all the time. You don't have to water, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to fertilize, none of that. So they grow 3 times faster in the aquaponic system. So that's what I'm doing. I'm happy because I've always wanted to do this. So now I've planted Dwarf Black Mulberry Cuttings to grow into Dwarf black mulberry trees. You know, it's a journey. It's gonna take some time, and I'm gonna enjoy them growing. I'm gonna enjoy myself pruning them, trimming them down, and one day potting them in my own pots. I'm gonna have a lot of black mulberry dwarf fruit trees that I grow myself from cuttings that have been grown aquaponically. So I'm looking forward to that. You guys have a nice. I think it's Tuesday. I think today is Tuesday. So I'm gonna say Tuesday. I could be wrong, but you have a nice day. Get outside, ground, detox, manifest. Be realistic with what's going on. I'm telling y'all, stop listening to all these crazy content creators out here who putting this stuff out. You know, the United States, we in trouble now, and all this. We are in trouble now, and all this nonsense, and you know, wars happen all the time, people. We get into these wars every 15, 20 years. We get into a war, so this is nothing different. You know, USA, we're gonna be fine. We are the biggest, strongest military in the whole world. I know. So stop listening to all these crazy content creators who don't like Trump. They hate Trump. They hate their own country. All that nonsense. You know, that has nothing to do with what's going on right now. You know, nothing to do with it. It's nonsense. You know, stop listening to all that nonsense. You live in the best country in the whole world. If you don't like it, got a passport, leave. Go live somewhere else. It's simple. You can do that in America. And with that, y'all have a nice day. Remember, we have to start working on saving ourselves, be more self-sustainable, grow our own food, all that. Y'all have a nice day. I'm going to go ahead and get my hot mocha and my brownies fuzz, whatever you want to call them, and head back to the house before this traffic gets bad. Bring some food your way.